So at the outset, let me thank Doc Vidya, which is, I believe, a part of DRL's activity for dissemination knowledge to a larger group of people, for bringing all of us together here, and also IJCP to facilitate this, getting two stalwarts to first come here and speak with all of us. So the first stalwart is Dr. AK Das. When I say he doesn't need introduction, he's like my elder brother, and we've known each other for more than 2 decades. Sir is a consultant physician and endocrinologist at PIMS, and he's also the patron of the National Society of Diabetes, which is called RSSDI. He's the co-chair for ICMR and the INDIBE study. He's the former national president of both the RSSDI and API, former dean of Indian College of Physicians, and most importantly, that I have known him all his life as the former professor and head of endocrinology, JIPMER and PIMS, Pondicherry. Apart from this, the most remarkable thing about Sir is that he remembers every minutest detail of you and every other person he meets. So I call him as the encyclopedia in metabolism. Apart from diabetes and metabolism, he also knows everything about you. That's wonderful. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much, sir. The other stalwart we have is Dr. Suryakant, who is a professor and head of Department of Respiratory Medicine at the King George Medical University, UP, Lucknow. He's also the member of the Institute of Governing Body of the All India Institute of Medical Sciences at Patna. He's the Executive Council of UP Medical Research, ETWA, honorary professor at the IMA, and I can see that I would have to read for the next 10 minutes. He's the past president of the Indian College of Allergy, past president of National College of Chest Physicians of India, past president of the Indian Chest Society, past president of Medical Science Section. Thank you, sir, so much that it's a medallion that I cannot go through, but it's wonderful to have you here. And most importantly, we are talking about something which has a lot of relevance and is contemporary to the situation that we are in today. First question to you, Dr. Suryakant, that is
Yeah,
there a we're going to shoot some questions to these experts,
sure.
and once we will have them responding to all of them, we've prepared a list. We would then have go through a slide kit with both of them will present. So let's keep it very short and crisp. So that
Yeah.
everybody gets a chance as well. So the first question to Dr. Suryakant, sir. So is there a connection between winters and respiratory diseases? And what are the common conditions that one may see in winters as far as respiratory illness goes?
Thank you, Rajiv. Thank you very much for the forum Indian Journal of Clinical Practice. That is, I think, established by late Dr. K.K. Agarwal, Padam Shri Dr. K.K. Agarwal, who has been mentor of so many doctors in this country, and he was the past national president of IMA. So a great tribute to him. And I'm also thankful to the Indian Chess Society and the other National College of Chess Physicians in India for, of course, the endorsing this program. And you are a wonderful moderator here, and it is very much interesting to present myself before Dr. A.K. Das, who is the, of course, legendary in the field of endocrinology in this country. So thank you, sir. Thank you very much for wonderful opportunity to interact with you, and of course, there's so many audience in this on this forum. You see, I used to say in Hindi in Uttar Pradesh कि जब ठंडक आती है तो सिर्फ ठंडक की दस्तक नहीं देती है, ये बीमारी की भी दस्तक देती है. So this is the usual, you see, this layman terminology or common man forum practice that used to say during the winters. And in winters, there is not only temperature is low, but there is a lot of dryness. So low temperature, dryness, and lack of air movement. So lack of air movement. So air movement is not there because in between sometimes happens. Otherwise, most of the time air movement is less. And most of the time air pollution is also increased. And of course, the viral concentration also increased. So virus, air pollution, fog, and of course, the low temperature and dryness. These are the 5 factors, I would say, which are responsible for the increase in most of the diseases. And our lungs are the organ which are directly exposed to the atmosphere. Whatever the changes occurring in the atmosphere, they are directly affecting to the lung, because inhaler we are taking the breath, because without oxygen we can't live. Without food we can live for 3 weeks. Without water we can live 3 days. Without oxygen we cannot live beyond 3 minutes. So whatever we are taking is taking from the atmosphere. So any change in atmosphere, that is directly affecting to the lungs and respiratory system. And that's why flu, influenza, respiratory syncytial virus, acute exacerbation of COPD, pneumonia, the diseases like this, they are very rampant in this season. And of course, most of the time, those who are having nasal allergy and sinusitis, that also exacerbated. So this is the usual link between the winter and most of the upper airway and lower airway problems.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Doctor. Dr. Das, he's a you have the master of all trades, sir. How can one differentiate between the different conditions that we have? As sir spoke about, there is pneumonia, there's bronchitis, flu, and influenza. And do you think that winter aids?
I'll just pass.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, the winter, as Professor Suryakant said, is the condition in which the cold air and the hypothermia does make us susceptible to the various diseases as described. Now, the four things that was just mentioned, from pollution to fog, and from the exposure to cold air to the diminished susceptibility, makes us fall sick with various array of diseases of the respiratory system. Starting with common cold. Common cold is a URI. We call it URI, upper respiratory infection, which confined to the upper respiratory tract, and it produces running nose, it just sneezing, it produces some pain, some nasal congestion, and produces things like that. But when it goes down, lower down, we call it LRI. And LRI is a condition when the lower respiratory gets involved, and that's what Professor Suryakant described three conditions. He described it can give rise to bronchitis. It can give rise, he described about the RSV, respiratory syncytial virus, which can give rise to bronchiolitis. And he said also to give rise to pneumonia. Now, the bronchitis usually refers to the inflammation of the various bronchi. And it is usually, there is acute and chronic bronchitis, the different definition for the chronic bronchitis, which has to occur at least for the 2 years. And no, they all manifest with cough, sputum production, dyspnea. If it is very, very severe, it can produce even cyanosis, chest pain, and sometimes also severe infection to produce hemoptysis. The pneumonia refers to the involvement of the one segment of the lung. Either it is a pneumonitis or the involvement of the one lobe causing pneumonia. But it usually superinfection, Rajiv, apart from the virus and all that, with some bacteria which becomes more dominant in this time, and that can be lobar. It can be one segment of a lobe called pneumonitis, or it can be bilateral, can be unilateral. It also, somebody who has an asthmatic tendency, Rajiv, we have seen this cold very often precipitates the asthma, and that is one of the trigger for the people who are, there are people who are sensitive to cold and they get asthma with the cold air and the cold winter. So I will just try to summarize by saying that what Professor Suryakant said, it starts because of the cold air, because of the hypothermia, sometimes associated with the cold winter. It starts with common cold. It is being prone one to influenza-like symptoms, sore throat. It can remain confined to the URI as URI and then disappears or gets cured. It can go LRI when it involves the bronchioles, bronchitis. A special variety of bronchiolitis can occur because of the respiratory syncytial virus. And then there is the involvement of the long lobe, which we call lobar pneumonia, but more often it can be pneumonitis. It can be unilateral and bilateral, and the various grades of infection does occur. So the bottom line is that cold winter makes one susceptible for the respiratory infections, especially those people who are prone to it. But everybody in general is more prone, and my advice will be to take precautions, whatever possible, to take precautions. And when somebody gets fever or body ache, there are also drugs available, which we can discuss little later, Rajiv, which can give for the adults. We have good drugs of 12 years of age. We use nimesulide to take care of the fever, to take care of the body pain, aches. We'll come to that little later.
So, Dr. Suryakant, if you could
Yeah.
add, there's some. How does a common cold affect respiratory health?
Yeah.
Because till now, a lot of people don't know what is common cold, what is flu, what is influenza, and is there something called as a cold autoinflammatory syndrome also?
Yeah. You see, if you just compare the upper airway and lower airway, what is the relation between the upper airway? Or usually most of the part of the upper airway that is considered by ENT colleague. And lower airway is usually dealt with our pulmonologist, we the pulmonologist. And I think this is the high time there should be very good harmony between the ENT specialist and the pulmonologist. Why?
Very well, sir. Very well said.
Because yes, sir. Because I used to compare nose as a first floor of a house, which is a double-story house having 2 floors, ground floor and first floor. First floor is basically nose, and ground floor is basically lungs or the lower respiratory tract. And there is a close correlation. And if you see, if there is any nuisance in the upper first floor, of course, the ground floor people, they will be affected. For example, there is a seepage from the floor of the first floor. What will happen? The ground floor will be affected. Where is the problem? Problem is in the first floor. Who is being affected? Problem is, of course, affected people are, of course, people of the ground floor. So that is the relation between nose and lung, that any nuisance in the nose or upper way, any problem in the nose or upper way will ultimately affect the lung. So that's why there is an ARIA guidelines called allergic rhinitis and its impact on asthma. Although this is a very, of course, limited thing that they are linking with allergic rhinitis and only asthma. But I believe that there is a close anatomical, physiological, immunological, pathological, microbiological, every cul is closely related with the ENT and the lungs. So if you are having common cold or flu, ultimately the inflammatory, of course, the secretions, inflammatory mediators, inflammatory cytokines, everything will go down, trickle down to the lower respiratory tract. And that's why if you see the close link in the ARIA guidelines, that shows that 1 patient of allergic rhinitis out of the 3 patients of allergic rhinitis, they are prone to develop asthma in future. So that's why we have to look. That's why I used to say that all ENT people should refer their allergic rhinitis patient to the pulmonologist for ruling out the asthma, and all pulmonologists should refer their asthma patient to the ENT specialist for ruling out the allergic rhinitis. This kind of close coordination should be there. Now, another important factor during winters is that there is a, due to the change in the environment, the cooling down of the temperature, dryness in the air, there is a more stability in the virus. Virus becomes more competent. Virus becomes more strong. And those who are having their immunity low, for example, children, for example, elderly. So I used to say from bachpan to pachpan, you have to protect in the winters, because the largest mortality from pneumonia in children less than 5 years is in India. So winters, we have to protect these age group, 2 extreme of ages, the children and the elderly. I used to say bachpan and pachpan. We have to protect especially those who are lung immunity or upper airway immunity is already compromised. For example, patients of already suffering from allergic rhinitis and sinusitis, patient already suffering from bronchial asthma, patient already suffering from chronic bronchitis, patient already suffering from the COPD. So they are already having compromised lung, upper airway compromised or lower airway compromised. So either the general immunity is compromised or upper airway is compromised or lower airway is compromised. These are the vulnerable, susceptible population during the winters, and they should be given special attention during the winter.
I think Rajiv, I think Suryakant has given a beautiful description with this bachpan to pachpan, which is one can never ever forget. But you know, this syndrome which you described, that this which you also asked, familial cold auto-inflammatory syndrome. We also call it familial cold urticaria, FCU. It is also a very, very rare condition. But one of Suryakant's colleague who was working with me, Bijay, I'm talking to Bijay Suryakant, Bijay Arora. Bijay Arora, you know him. You're called.
Yeah, I know VK Arora.
VK had shown me 2 cases, and we did the genetics, Rajiv. It is basically a autosomal dominant gene, dominant inheritance of the disease, and the disease relatively rare. But what it manifests is the familial cold urticaria, familial cold-induced joint pain, and familial cold-induced fever. And this is doesn't occur in everybody. Occurs in a familial manner, those who have this autosomal dominant gene. And there is treatment exists for the joint pain and the fever. And we have found these 2 cases which is showed in my unit. We had actually treated them with nimesulide, Rajiv, and it's a beautiful drug for the joint pain and for the fever that occur in this condition. So it's a curiosity for the postgraduates, Rajiv. The FCS, am I correct? FCS or FCU, and it's a rare disease, but that's what you had asked, and it's an inflammatory syndrome. It's an inflammatory syndrome. So the nimesulide is a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory. Am I correct? NSAID. So it's a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory. We don't want to give steroids, so it works well. Thank you. But Suryakant, I really like the way you describe. I'll tell you, Rajiv, because we have now with the DRL who are very close to us. I must tell you that I used to joke with Satish. There are 3 reasons on which we're here. Number 1, for the children, and the loss of lives, Rajiv, for the pneumonia is very huge. People used to laugh at us when we used to take long biopsy in children to develop knowing the bacteria, develop the vaccine. That studies. And one of your colleague in pediatric, Suryakant, was involved in this pediatric, but I forgot her name, lady who came down to the ISMR many times to the meeting.
From PGI Chandigarh?
No, from I'm talking about Lucknow.
Acha, Shaili Avasti?
Shaili Agasti.
Absolutely. Yeah, Shaili ma'am.
Shaili. She is a very close friend of mine.
Yeah.
And she did work on this because preventing pneumonia in children, Rajiv, is one of my national priorities. I worked, Rajiv, as the additional DGHS. So one of the priorities that you have, as you rightly said, is preventing pneumonia. Because pneumonia-related deaths, Rajiv, is huge. And also forget about the death, the morbidity, the fever, the joint pain, the feeling under the weather, the loss to the nation, working days, that we have good drugs available to take care of it. Thank you, Rajiv. Sorry.
Thank you, sir. I think actually nimesulide is a wonderful drug. It's a very safe drug as far as the safety profile is concerned.
Yeah.
It has got immunomodulatory effect also. And that's why probably sir had mentioned it is the choice for the cold autoinflammatory syndrome. So that's thank you very much, sir, for projecting this thing. So I think all of residents, they are also logged and they must be beneficiary.
Today. My page is also there, sir.
So sir touched upon a lot of lot of issues related to the lung, and importantly told us that we have to have an holistic approach, which Dr. Suryakant also said, that we can't say that we are traffic police, we don't handle law and order. It was like that, I'm handling the nose, I cannot handle the lungs. So but importantly, sir, you touched upon inflammation, and that is something which is coming in as a huge pathophysiological issue in multiple disorders. So whether we look at joints, we look at atherosclerosis, we look at diabetes, and today we look at respiratory disorders. Inflammation seems to be there, and I'm going back because you all spoke about a little bit about nimesulide. Now, what is the role of inflammation in respiratory disorders?
Yes.
I'll start with Dr. Suryakant.
Yes, and before that, I just forget. I just mentioned, because this is again COVID time, so I'll must share with the audience that if you have uncontrolled inflammation in any part of the body, then that part of body or that part or that system is vulnerable, rather more susceptible for COVID infection also. For example, asthma. Asthma is a chronic inflammatory disease. If you take inhaler regularly, your inflammation is well controlled. You are not having any additional risk for the COVID-19. But if your asthma is not well controlled, you are not taking inhalation or whatever nebulization, whatever you are taking, your doctor is prescribing, and if you are not taking regularly, your inflammation in the lung or inflammation in the airway is not well controlled, then you are additionally exposed and susceptible to the COVID-19 also. Now, coming to the inflammation. Inflammation has got very important role, not only the lung diseases, but I think Dr. Das, sir, is the better person to comment on that. I think it's involved in all disease processes.
Absolutely. So we have
published you see very small one that confined to the lungs only. Yes.
But sir, Dr. Kant, your Hindi is so good. We have a lot of people from the Hindi belt. You know, I would appreciate if you could speak in Hindi, you know, because they would also gain a lot. So
अरे मेरे पास तो हिंदी में बहुत सारी कहावतें हैं.
सर हम वो सुनेंगे और एनलाइटन होंगे सर.
तो मैंने जैसे अभी बताया था कि लंग और नाक का क्या रिश्ता होता है. नाक ऐसे समझ लीजिए कि जैसे फर्स्ट फ्लोर है घर का, और फेफड़ा ऐसे समझ लीजिए कि ग्राउंड फ्लोर है. और अगर आपकी जो छत है, यानी कि जो फर्स्ट फ्लोर की, अर्थात जो फर्स्ट फ्लोर की रूफ है, इफ दिस इज लीकिंग, तो प्रॉब्लम तो कहाँ है? फर्स्ट फ्लोर में, लेकिन ये स्पॉइल किसको कर रही है? ग्राउंड फ्लोर पे. सो दैट इज द प्रॉब्लम. सो दैट इज द लिंक. एंड द सेकेंड थिंग इज कि सर्दियों में मैंने बताया कि क्या है, 5 फैक्टर मैंने गिनाए जो कि बहुत रिस्क फैक्टर बनाते हैं इतनी इंपॉर्टेंट डिजीजेस के लिए. पहला फैक्टर मैंने बताया कि टेम्परेचर कम है. दूसरा मैंने कहा कि ड्राइनेस है. और तीसरा मैंने कहा कि स्मोक और स्मोग है, यानी एयर पोल्यूशन है. एयर पोल्यूशन है, स्मोक है. और फिर मैंने कहा कि चौथे में वायरस की जो स्टेबिलिटी है, वो वायरस मजबूत हो जाते हैं. देखिए, गर्मी का वायरस, सर्दी का वायरस, दोनों में क्या है, विंटर जो है दिस इज ए मोर you see lovable and of course favorable for the viruses growth and viruses stability. तो ये और दूसरा मैंने कहा कि इम्यूनिटी ओवरऑल इम्यूनिटी, जैसे बचपन और बचपन मैंने कहा, तो इम्यूनिटी जिनकी कमजोर है ऐसे लोग, और लोकल इम्यूनिटी माने अपर एयरवे की इम्यूनिटी या लंग की इम्यूनिटी जिनकी कमजोर है, those who are already suffering from allergy. तो जितनी भी इन्फ्लेमेटरी कंडीशन है, वो इन्फ्लेमेटरी कंडीशन सर्दी में बढ़ जाती हैं. इसलिए those patients who are having any inflammatory disease, maybe हम लोग मेडिकल लैंग्वेज में जाते हैं जिसमें आइटिस लग गया, मतलब इन्फ्लेमेटरी डिजीज, राइनाइटिस, आर्थराइटिस, साइनोसाइटिस, ब्रोंकाइटिस. सो एवरी आइटिस इज ए इन्फ्लेमेटरी डिजीज. और सबसे ज्यादा जो आइटिस आपको मिलेंगी वो अपर एयर वे और लोअर एयर में मिलेगी. सो दैट्स व्हाई इन्फ्लेमेशन. So I think inflammation is a very important part as far as the respiratory system is concerned. And I said inflammation has to be controlled. And as I mentioned, that nimesulide is not only antipyretic, it's an analgesic also, and is an anti-inflammatory also, and immunomodulator also, and that can be very safely taken during this season.
You would like to add something?
I just want to emphasize few points which I mean, I have learned from Suryakant and Vijay Arora. You know, the acute respiratory obstruction, asthma, is basically mediated in smokers, other people by the smoking, etc. But there also inflammation plays an important role. Yes. The inflammation in the tight junctions makes it permeable. Am I correct? And a lot of secretions do come out. Yes. It has been said that the chronic respiratory infection, chronic bronchitis, and acute bronchial obstructive disease, Suryakant, correct me if I'm wrong,
yes,
they produce the severe obstruction is mediated through chronic inflammation.
Yes,
and this chronic inflammation, Rajiv, becomes the cause for two things: cardiovascular disease and lung cancer. So one must use anti-inflammatory.
Yes.
And taking cue from what Suryakant just now said, we did publish a book, Rajiv, that about the inflammation and its role in various diseases, be it diabetes mellitus. We know today we are giving hydroxychloroquine for diabetes as the number 3 drug. Whether it is cardiac disease, you know, the work of the famous cardiologist today establishing that acute coronary heart disease is also inflammatory. They have shown all the inflammatory markers going very high. So you rightly said, Rajiv, that today inflammation has become the thing to be taken care of. So what it boils down to? It boils into the fact is exactly what we discussed now. We do not need only antipyretic. We need a disease-modifying drug. Am I correct, Suryakant?
Yes, sir, 100%, sir.
So the disease-modifying drug Rajiv, you beautifully building up the story, Rajiv. I congratulate you. The disease-modifying drug has to address inflammation. And we, in the armamentarium, we have a drug. We can do it below 12 years of age. But above 12 years of age, for a short term, up to 15 days, very safely, one can use this particular nimesulide, which is anti-inflammatory, also provides anti-pain, anti-fever. So that is the moral, that the chronic bronchitis, acute respiratory obstructive disease, and resultant CVD, and the not in the short term but long term lung cancer mediated through inflammation. So anti-inflammatory works out to be a disease-modifying drug.
Thank you so much, Dr. Das. It's unfortunate that we do not consider inflammation as a pathway in defects, and many a time anti-inflammatories are only majority given by orthopedic surgeons rather than the physician community. And the side effect profile somehow weighs higher or heavier on their mental framework rather than the benefit it has. So, what I'm going to do is, sir, I'm going to, y'all spoke a lot about inflammation, about how nimesulide, but have we found that all kinds of respiratory disorders, there can be some immunomodulation also with nimesulide apart from the anti-inflammatory properties?
I think this question to sir, you have asked to Das sir.
No, to you, Dr. Khan.
Okay. Yes, I have already mentioned that yes, nimesulide has so many roles to play other than the antipyretic and analgesic. Because it is publicly, it is well known that nimesulide is a drug for the pain, it is for the fever, that's all. But in addition to pain and fever, it is also working as an anti-inflammatory and also as an immunomodulator. And now, if you see in last 30, 40 years, there is a concept of immunity. And I'm really thankful to the public awareness program done last 2 years during the COVID times that people now understand immunity. You see, before COVID, people were not understanding the immunity. Before, but there was no talk of immunity in the public platform, public domain. Nobody is talking of fruits, vegetables, kala, so lifestyle. So in 2 years, I think in public domain और हमारे डॉक्टर्स के बीच में भी कुछ योगा करने लगे हैं, कुछ प्राणायाम करने लगे हैं, कुछ काढ़ा पीने लगे हैं, फल खाने लगे हैं. मैं बताऊं, मेरे बच्चे फल नहीं खाते थे. सो मतलब अब तो ये है कि अब तो कह देते कि नहीं पापा आज फल भी ले आइए. So this is the change which I experience.
Suryakanth, if you buy fruits, me and my wife end up in eating that. You are absolutely correct.
So I think in 2 years, the immunity has, has got a very vibrant place in the society. And now people talking of, that's important. It has become a talk of town during last 2 years. कि भाई इम्यूनिटी बढ़ाओ. और हमने तो राजीव जी और सर, मैंने एक स्लोगन दिया. यूजुअली मैं सिंगल लाइनर स्लोगन बहुत देता हूँ और थोड़े हिंदी में भी देता हूँ. तो मैंने जब लोगों ने मेरा एक करवाया कि साहब बच्चों की इम्यूनिटी कैसे बढ़ाएं, तो मैंने कहा इफ यू वांट टू मेक योर चाइल्ड immune child, make him vegetable child. If you don't want to make him immune child, make him burger child. So this is now a very important slogan: vegetable child, burger child. Your child is vegetable child or burger child. Means vegetable child means immune child, and burger child means non-immune child. So now we have to oppose a little bit this fast food culture also, which in last 30 years had very grown up. Even it has grown into the villages level, rural level. So that's not a good for the health of India. Prime Minister is, of course, committed for the digital health mission and so many health mission and so many health scheme, Ayushman Bharat and so many health and wellness center. Probably this is the concept for increasing the people of the concept of good lifestyle and good health. So I think now people thinking of the immunity, now people thinking of the good lifestyle, now people thinking of the yoga and pranayam, now people they are thinking of the vegetable and fruits. So that's a good change, that from fast food culture to the traditional food we are going. If somebody asks me, should I go to the dietitian for the healthy diet? I said, no, there is no need to go dietitian. Whatever the traditional Indian thali was, which you have forget, you just remember the traditional Indian thali. It is full of immunity. It is full of good health. So that you have to do. So local, seasonal fruits, vegetables, there's plenty of things should be taken. into account? I just forgot the question. What was the question?
No, sir. We are very happy listening to what you want to tell us. To be very frank, because at the end, it's communication of good knowledge. So that's what you are doing.
Yeah, and the great science. The great science about the vegetable child vis-a-vis the burger child. No, it's a great you cannot forget. Rajiv, I'll just tell you, completing what as a compliment to what Suryakant had just now said. You asked, does inflammation play an important role in all types of respiratory disease? Am I correct? You asked that. But then what role inflammation plays? You know, I'll just make a long story short by saying, take for example pneumonitis. What does it do? A irritating substance causes inflammation of the tiny air spaces. We call it alveoli. Alveoli inflammation is the pneumonitis. Now, when this alveoli becomes inflamed, we get alveolitis. This inflammation makes it difficult for oxygen to pass through the alveoli, and that gives rise to whatever the symptoms we have, breathlessness, or in severe cases, blueness, becoming sinus, whatever that. Now, there are many irritants. You know, Dr. Suryakant stays very close to Delhi. You know, it is in Delhi. AQI today is 162. So therefore, many irritants ranging from the airborne molds to chemotherapeutic drugs, and for the various types of allergy that we're exposed to every day, it continues to produce inflammation. So the answer to your question is yes, Rajiv. Majority of the respiratory diseases are stories of inflammation. The itis, when you say itis, is the inflammation in the bronchi, inflammation in the bronchioles, inflammation in the the small alveolar spaces, tiny air spaces that produces this. And you know, just now we have published an article in one book written by Indranil Bashurai from United States. He's a proponent of yoga. Yeah. We have also showed that how lifestyle, I'm not talking about something which is not evidence-based. I'm talking the evidence-based lifestyle, proper lifestyle. We'll discuss that later, but everybody understands that the good lifestyle can really keep this inflammation under control. And a lifestyle which is derailed can bring about all the types of things into the inflammation. So inflammatory markers are also modifiable by good diet, by good lifestyle, and of course we have drugs, as Suryakant told some time back.
So, Doctor, that's fantastic. You know, when you sum up things, no, it is like a last-minute revision for an exam-going student. Dr. Suryakant, now, you know, though it is off-topic, you know, obviously, COVID made everyone realize, as you said, about immunity, lung disorders. One question which, you know, whichever specialty you have, a patient will ask you, so what about Omicron and the third wave? What is your take on it?
Okay, I'll give my single liner answer. मुझे आदत पड़ गई है कि मैं हर चीज को छोटा करके सोच के फिर एक सिंगल लाइनर. केसेस पढ़ेंगे, केओस नहीं होगा. This is my single liner observation. Cases बढ़ेंगे, cases are bound to increase. You cannot stop. आप ताला नहीं लगा सकते हैं, अलीगढ़ का ताला नाक में नहीं लगा सकते हैं कि आप जो है हवा लेना बंद कर दें. मास्क सब लगाते नहीं हैं, तो कहीं ना कहीं तो ट्रांसमिशन होगा तो दिखेगा. अब जैसे कल वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पॉलिटिकल फैमिली में 2 लोग पॉजिटिव पाए गए. अब वो तो भाई बहुत लिमिटेड उनका वो था, कुछ छोटी मोटी प्रॉब्लम हुई होगी या ऐसे ही कैजुअल कहीं एक्सपोजर हुआ होगा, तो वो कैसे हो गए पॉजिटिव. तो ये देखिए, वायरस एक्चुअली यू कैन नॉट कन्फाइन. कहते हैं ना, हम तो हवाओं में फिजाओं में तैरते रहते हैं, हमें कौन पकड़ेगा. और जो हवा में तैर रहा है, हेलीकॉप्टर दिख रहा है, हवाई जहाज दिख रहा है, पतंग भी दिख रही है, लेकिन वायरस कहां दिख रहा है? इट इज इनविजिबल. सो मेरा ये ऑब्जर्वेशन है कि 2022 के लिए, अब दिसंबर तो जा ही रहा है, शुरू हुआ था. एक्चुअली मैंने एक वीडियो दिया था, नवंबर पार तो नैया पार, लेकिन ये हो ना सका. 9 नवंबर को साउथ अफ्रीका में एक केस आ गया, जिसको बाद में 26 नवंबर को WHO ने ओमिक्रॉन डिक्लेयर किया. और उसके कारण जो अब तक ऑब्जर्वेशन आए हैं, अभी तक यूएस में भी केवल 1 डेथ हुई है और कोई ऐसा बहुत सीरियस केस नहीं हुए हैं. तो अभी तक का ऑब्जर्वेशन ये बताता है कि ये इन्फेक्शियस तो है, लेकिन बहुत ज्यादा विरुलेंट नहीं है. मोर इन्फेक्शियस, लेस विरुलेंट. डेल्टा से 5 टाइम्स इन्फेक्शियस है। बहुत सी ऑब्जर्वेशन स्टडीज आ गई हैं, ऑब्जर्वेशन आ गए हैं, WHO ने भी कह दिया है इट्स 5 टाइम्स मोर इन्फेक्शियस देन दी 50 से ज्यादा इसके म्यूटेशंस हैं नए वेरिएंट में, वगैरह वगैरह बहुत सी चीजें आई हैं। लेकिन ये ज्यादा विरुलेंट नहीं है। विरुलेंट नहीं तो क्या होगा, केसेस तो बढ़ेंगे लेकिन क्योस नहीं होगा, जो कि हमने सेकेंड वेव में देखा। तो ऑफ कोर्स केसेस आर बाउंड टू इंक्रीज। हमारा उत्तर प्रदेश की बात करें, बहुत ही टॉप लेवल का मैनेजमेंट हुआ है, यहाँ पे बहुत ज्यादा कन्फाइनमेंट हुआ है। अभी हमारे 8 से 9 केसेस पर डे आ रहे थे, नाउ वी हैव क्रॉस द 20। तो नंबर धीरे धीरे यहाँ भी राइज कर रहा है, ओवरऑल भी बढ़ रहा है। ओमिक्रॉन के केसेस भी, हालांकि अभी तक हम लोग जीनोम सीक्वेंसिंग से ही कर रहे हैं एंड वी आर हैविंग लिमिटेड सेंटर्स फॉर जीनोम सीक्वेंसिंग, लेकिन फिर भी केसेस तो बढ़ ही रहे हैं। लेकिन फिर भी बचने की जरूरत है, डरने की जरूरत नहीं है। मेरा सेकंड लाइनर है, बचने की जरूरत है, डरने की जरूरत नहीं है। बहुत ज्यादा पैनिक करने की जरूरत नहीं है, बहुत ज्यादा केओस करने की जरूरत नहीं है। और मैं कहता हूं कि बस मैंने कहा है ओमिक्रॉन से बचने के डॉक्टर सूर्यकांत के 5 मंत्र। अगर आप मेरा यूट्यूब चैनल खोलेंगे तो उसमें एक वीडियो मिलेगा अभी लेटेस्ट, जो मैंने कहा है डॉक्टर सूर्यकांत के 5 मंत्र। अब देखिए 3 मंत्र तो सब लोग ने, मैंने 5 मंत्र दिए। मैं सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है जो लोग भूल जाते हैं। लोग क्या करते हैं कि जैसे कोविड में खुले तो मिले, अब मिले तो फिर ऐसे हाथ मिलाने लगते हैं, इतनी तेज और इतनी देर तक हाथ मिलाते हैं कि जैसे पुराने कुंभ में बिछड़े थे और इस कुंभ में मिले हो 12 साल बाद। तो ऐसा नहीं है भाई, मिलिए तो नमस्ते करिए। When you shake the hands, you exchange the virus, you exchange the bacteria, you exchange everything, whatever you have on the surface of the hand. हैंड की सरफेस पे लेंस लगा के तो आपने देखा नहीं क्या है। तो आप जब हाथ मिलाते हैं तो ऑफ कोर्स डेफिनेटली एक्सचेंजेस ऑफ microbes which you cannot see. It may be virus, it may be bacteria, it may be other microbes. तो हाथ जोड़िए, हाथ मिलाइए नहीं, हाथ जोड़िए, नमस्ते करिए और हाथ धोइए। 2 चीजें हाथों की इंपॉर्टेंट चीज काम है, बहुत करिए। एक, नमस्ते करिए, मिलाने की बजाय अपने अपने हाथ जोड़िए। एक दूसरे के हाथ जोड़ने के बजाय अपने अपने हाथ जोड़िए और हाथ धोते रहिए। 2 काम हाथ से करिए। और तीसरा, घर से निकलते ही, थोड़ी दूर चलते ही, बल्कि उसके पहले ही मास्क लगा लीजिए। जैसे आप घर से निकलते हैं तो हेलमेट लेते हैं, चश्मा लेते हैं, रुमाल लेते हैं, पर्स लेते हैं, लड़कियां पर्स लेती हैं, बड़ा पर्स लटकाने वाले लेती हैं, हम लोग जेब में रखने वाले लेते हैं, गांव वाले जो है एक गमछा डालते हैं, वगैरह वगैरह। तो ये छोटी मोटी एक्सेसरीज हैं जो आप घर से बाहर निकलने पर लेते हैं। तो उसमें 2-3 जेब में मास्क भी डाल लीजिए। 2-3 इसलिए मैंने कहा कि कभी ये वेट हो जाते हैं, कभी आप बहुत भीड़ में चले जाते हैं, तो जहां लगे वहां चेंज कर दीजिए। तो मास्क भी लेके चलिए और दूरी बना। अब देखिए, नमस्ते दूर से कर लेंगे तो नेचुरली बहुत पास नहीं जाएंगे। नमस्ते बिल्कुल मिलके तो किया नहीं जाता है, दूर से ही कर लिया जाता है, तो डिस्टेंस अपने आप मेंटेन हो जाएगी। नमस्ते किया मतलब वहीं रुक गए, तो दूरी अपने आप मेंटेन हो जाएगी। और 5वां, वैक्सीन लगवाते रहिए। नहीं लगवाई है तो पहली डोज लगवाइए, पहली लगवा लिए तो दूसरी लगवाइए। ऐसा मत करिए कि एक वैक्सीन लगवा ली दूसरी नहीं लगवा रहे हैं, ऐसा बिल्कुल मत करिए। और एक चीज और है, 18 से नीचे की भी वैक्सीन आ गई है, अप्रूव हो गई है, जल्दी ही आने वाली है। और 44 करोड़ लोग, 44 करोड़ लोग हैं जो कि 18 साल से नीचे इस देश में हैं। बहुत बड़ी संख्या है, यू कैन नॉट इग्नोर दिस। कोई भी ट्रांसमिशन की बात करेंगे आप, स्कूल खुले हुए हैं, कॉलेज खुले हुए हैं, सब कुछ खुला हुआ है। अभी थोड़ा सा हफ्ते 10 दिन की छुट्टी आएगी, उसके बाद फिर खुल जाएंगे। हो सकता है ज्यादा सर्दी की वजह से नियम हफ्ता भर की और छुट्टी कर दे, दैट्स ऑल फिनिश, बट स्कूल तो खुले ही रहेंगे। तो ये 18 साल से कम जो एज ग्रुप है, 44 करोड़ की जो पॉपुलेशन है, ये बिल्कुल अभी वैक्सीनेटेड नहीं है। इसलिए वैक्सीन का इंतजार करिए और तब तक आपका मास्क ही वैक्सीन है, ये मान के चलिए।
Fantastic, sir. Sir, your take-home message, Dr. Das. Your take-home message.
I think Rajiv, 26th November, when the Omicron was described, we knew that it is a milder disease, and we said transmissibility is much higher, but the disease per se does not produce that much of havoc. That's what the first sentence that we discussed today. But about the severity of the disease, Rajiv, we are not yet sure whether the infection with Omicron produces more severe disease or less severe disease compared to infections with other variants, including Delta. Now, preliminary data suggests that there are increasing rates of hospitalization in South Africa. So I can't able to tell you that. In the beginning, there was less hospitalization, Rajiv, Surikant, but now we are knowing that as the days pass by, from January 20 November, we are not yet 26th December, Surikant, not even a month, but the hospitalization rate because of Omicron, Rajiv, is increasing in South Africa. But this may be due to the overall number of patients that is getting infected in South Africa. We have got 356 today. They have got much more than that. Therefore, it is said that this hospitalization is not because of the specific infection with Omicron, but because of the large number of cases that is infected. But it is also today, Rajiv, kindly watch my words. There is no evidence today to say that the symptoms of Omicron are different from those from the other variants. I'll repeat again, the symptoms are the same. Initial reported infections were among university students that Dr. Kotse, that lady president of the South Africa Medical Association, this is described, was university students, younger individuals, and they usually have milder disease, and it was described that the disease will have a milder course. But understanding the spirit of the Omicron, today Kotse has said that the Omicron and its variant, the 30 variants, Omicrons and its variants will take days to several weeks. All variants of Omicron or all variants of COVID-19, including the Delta variant, are dominant worldwide and can cause, I'm not scaring Rajiv, but if we do not take those 5 principles told by Suryakant, if we don't take care, they can cause severe disease or even death. We have only one death in a 3-year-old child so far, yes, but they can still produce death, in particularly in the most vulnerable people. 2 sentences I'll say before I close. One is that whether our vaccine is effective against it or not, the answer is yes. Whatever you have today, it is effective. Does it occur in the people who already have COVID infection before? Yes, it can occur. Now, it is WHO is working with its technical partner to understand the potential impact of the booster dose on this vaccine. And vaccine remains critical, if not to prevent, Suryakant and Rajiv. We have said today in the meeting that it is for reducing severe disease and death, including the dominant circulatory variants, Delta, and the more severe variants of the Omicron. Current vaccines remain effective against severe disease and death. So that is my take-home message, that when it started, 20 number, we said it's very, very mild. Today also very mild. The South African cases were admitted because large number, but it was mostly college students. So Kotse said less. But today, if we do not take care, it might, I'm not scaring, I wish I'm wrong, it might become a cause of severe disease and loss of life.
Thank you so much, Dr. Das. Thank you very, very much. Dr. Kant, your final short, good message, like you always do.
I agree with the Dr. Das. आप देखिए कि अगर किसी यंग एज में ओमिक्रॉन वायरस का इन्फेक्शन होगा तो होगा और चला जाएगा. आई यूज्ड टू कंपेयर, जैसे घर में घंटी बजी, आपने दरवाजा खोला, गेस्ट आया, बिठाया, चाय पिलाई, चला गया, हो गया ओमिक्रॉन. मोस्ट ऑफ द केसेस दे विल अकर लाइक दिस. तो ठीक है, गेस्ट आया है घर में, चाय पिलाई, अच्छा लगा, आपको भी चला गया. और अब देखिए यही ओमिक्रॉन अगर एक पेशेंट वेल नोन है पहले से लंग डिजीज का, क्रोनिक लंग डिजीज का पेशेंट है, मान लीजिए इंटरस्टिशियल लंग डिजीज का है, क्रोनिक ब्रोंकाइटिस का है, अस्थमा का है, सीओपीडी का है, ब्रोंकाइटिस का है, ब्रोंकाइटिस का है, किसी का भी पेशेंट है, अगर उसमें ओमिक्रॉन जाएगा तो सिर्फ चाय पी के नहीं जाएगा, फिर वो 1-2 दिन रुक के जाएगा. तो इसलिए उसमें सीवियर इन्फेक्शन हो सकता है. हार्ट डिजीज का पेशेंट है, लिवर डिजीज का पेशेंट है, किडनी डिजीज का पेशेंट है, डायबिटीज का अनकंट्रोल्ड डायबिटीज का पेशेंट है, थायराइड का पेशेंट है, कैंसर का पेशेंट है. ये लंग ट्रांसप्लांट रिसेंटली हुआ. इस तरह के जो पेशेंट्स होंगे उन्हें खास तौर पर हमें प्रोटेक्ट करना होगा, क्योंकि भले ही विरुलेंस कम हो लेकिन विरुलेंस एब्सेंट थोड़ी है. विरुलेंस कम कहा हम लोगों ने, एब्सेंट नहीं कहा, लेकिन उसके लिए भी उतनी ही विरुलेंस बहुत महंगी साबित हो सकती है. So those who are chronically ill, those who are elderly, and of course immunocompromised due to any chronic disease, they have to be protected by any strain. आज ओमिक्रॉन है, कल हो सकता कोई और क्रोन आ जाए. They have to be protected by, और इसीलिए मैंने कहा इम्यूनिटी के 3 तरीके. जी हाँ, इम्यूनिटी के 3 तरीके. पहला वैक्सीन वो लगवाते रहिए, दूसरा सोशल वैक्सीन यानी आप कोविड अप्रोप्रिएट बिहेवियर का पालन करिए, और तीसरी इम्यूनिटी का वैक्सीन, इम्यूनिटी बढ़ाते रहिए, भारत वाले ताकत वाले बनते रहिए। तीनों वैक्सीन का इस्तेमाल कीजिए, बायोलॉजिकल वैक्सीन यानी कि कोविड की वैक्सीन, सोशल वैक्सीन यानी कोविड अप्रोप्रिएट बिहेवियर, और इम्यूनिटी की वैक्सीन यानी कि भारतवासी ताकतवासी। ये सब करते रहिए तो अपने आप बचे रहेंगे।
Thank
5
you.
principles: sleep well,
Yeah,
eat well,
eat well,
exercise well,
exercise
Smile well.
like Rajiv. I mean, this is God's grace, not he's useless. He's God's grace for him. Keep
Yes.
smiling like him.
Keep
He's
smiling
always
like
in the forefront. No, you're always. I tell you, I have rarely seen him. He's
Yeah.
always smiling. So that's what a smile pushes it away. So I really like what we discussed today. That we had takat wale bharat wale hain. Our takat comes from our lifestyle, from the, I mean, whatever you call it. Sleep well, eat well, exercise well, and keep smiling.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Dr.
sir.
Das. Thank you, Dr. Suryakant. We will make sure
Ji, Rajiv ji.
we don't shake hands with anybody. We
Yes,
hold hands.
namaste.
We
Namaste.
maintain social vaccine and improve immunity. Your take home, Bharatvasi Takatwar, is very, very important. Thank you all who joined in, and I'm sure you all have got fantastic tips on how to manage an inflammatory disorder like respiratory illnesses, and how the future of COVID looks like, and how we all need to get a little health literate to make sure that this COVID doesn't overwhelm us. Just becoming a little bit more health literate, getting wellness into our culture will make sure, as Dr. Suryakant said, that wearing a mask, washing your hands, maintaining social distancing will go a very long way in making us healthier and India healthier and a better place to live in. Thank you all for a patient hearing. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.